Our next presenter this evening, Dr. Briscoe mentioned earlier tonight, on Saturday at our homecoming, we're going to again honor our baseball team for winning their second conference championship in the last 3 years. This next inductee, as I mentioned earlier tonight, really was a key cog in our program getting, to that next level that Coach Langan and the young men that are on our current team have achieved over the last 3 years. With that being said, it's my honor to introduce our current head baseball coach, Chris Langan.
Gotta have a cheat sheet. So good evening, everyone. I'd like to take a few minutes real quick to recognize some of the people here tonight that spent countless hours making this possible. From the Hall of Fame Committee to our Alumni Association, Ben Dinallo, Lori McGinnis, and of course, last but certainly not least, Mark Mentone. Lots of hours to prepare something like this and pull off this night, so let's give these guys a round of applause. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. All right, good. I'm now entering year number 16 here at Felician. Only JR apparently has beaten me. So it's really great to look out and see so many faces. I won't call you old, so we'll say familiar. These last few years especially have been really great here at Felician. A lot of growth. Within the program, going from NAIA, obviously transforming from from a college to a university, and then obviously the recent success in the baseball team. I can't tell you about the overwhelming amount of text messages, tweets, emails, phone calls from alumni. It really made things that much more special. And I really appreciate you all coming together. In such a small community, watching it really grow. Tonight, obviously, we're here to induct a very special athlete, and to me, a very dear friend, Frank Quintana. Frank's forever going to be known here at Felician for some of his monstrous home runs and the many accomplishments on and off the field. In Felician, he's basically rewritten most of our records. Was one of the first players I've had sign a professional contract, first double-digit home run guy, first to 60 hits. I mean, the endless amount of statistics that he piled up were just really impressive. The guy really worked tremendously hard. I'm still wondering why he left sunny South Florida to come up to wonderful North Jersey, but I guess I'll answer that question. To me, Frank, obviously, we've really developed a great friendship. I've inherited your dog, just like Andrew Torriello. But more importantly, again, the friendship and seeing you grow into the man you are today. An accomplished state trooper, a husband, a father, and then now just a new homeowner. So Frank, congratulations on all these accomplishments. JR kind of touched on, the importance of, Frank's impact on the program. Mike Ruth, who obviously was our inductee last year, basically passed the baton to Frank and, really helped elevate our program and really did change the whole culture and gave us a huge identity. So obviously I owe a lot of thanks to you two guys. Getting into the South Florida recruiting, it's kind of a bad story, but I have to tell it because that's how it's all been possible. 12 years ago, we finished the season. We were 16 and 29. I was probably pulling my hair out of my head. I couldn't stand losing anymore. We were awful. We just were not good. We're not talented. So I had to go in and ask JR, we can go out and change some things. Thank God he said yes. And we started getting down to South Florida. I had a connection down there from a former teammate, and he had a list of guys I needed to come see, obviously one being Frank Quintana. So I made the trip down to see this power-hitting first baseman that I was hoping would make an impact. I show up to the field, and I see this mature, we'll use is the right word, first baseman step up to the plate. Now, back in this day, there was a lot of question with Latin players and their ages. So obviously, I was pretty skeptical about, was this guy 18, 19, 20? Nobody knew. So I figured something was going to blow up in my face after we had such a poor year. So anyway, first pitch is thrown, strike one. Okay. I write down some notes about his stance, about the way he carries himself. Next pitch thrown. Bang. Long fly ball, deep left field. Gone, but way foul. He must have hit the ball 440 feet into Cayocho, which is about, down the left field line. From that point on, I kind of said to myself, this guy's going to do big things. Didn't need to see much more. Next pitch, he struck out. I'll speed up my little speech here. His first ball at bat is, freshman year. Here he goes. We're playing King University, which is, my alum, so obviously I never want to lose to those guys. Frank hits the first pitch and crushes the ball off their scoreboard. From that day, we knew we had something special. I gotta go to Dr. Prisco here. So at this time, we'd like to invite Dr. Prisco to the podium to formally induct Frank into our Athletics Hall of Fame.
Formally inducting Frank Quintana into the Athletics Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I would like to first say congratulations to the Hall of Famers with us tonight. It's truly an honor to share the night with each and every one of you. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving me this great honor. I stand up here humbled and overwhelmed. Even though I think my career ended too soon, I look back at my career and I know I did everything in my power to play at the highest level of my ability day in and day out. I'm extremely grateful for every inning I played and every time I stood in the batter's box. As I look back at my life as a baseball player, I can truly say that it has been a amazing journey. The first person I would like to thank is my grandfather. My grandfather would sit in traffic every day for hours at a time just to get me to practice or a game. He really did have a passion for the game. To this day, my grandfather still has books with my stats for every season I played until right about I got to high school. I'm truly blessed and grateful to still have him part of my life. It's pretty cool feeling knowing that he loved watching me as much as I loved watching having him there. My parents, what can I say? I am no one without them. I am who I am because of them. There's not a day goes by that I don't thank God for having them in my life. My parents were my biggest fans. Mom and Dad would leave work about 6 every day. Sit in rush hour traffic just to make my first pitch. As a kid, I was nervously looking around until they got there. I would ask my grandfather what time it was about a couple dozen times before they got there. I didn't want them to miss an inning or in the back. Mom and Dad, I didn't want them to miss an inning or in the back. Mom and Dad, at games were fun to watch. Mom would sit and gossip all game. I would be in the on-deck circle and I would tell her, go, hey Mom, I'm next. That was completely different. That would usually stand up the whole game, behind home plate, watching, not saying much. Dad usually gave me a speech in the car on the way home and what I did wrong and right during the game. It's times like that when you realize how grateful you are to have parents that wanted nothing but the best. Parents that would do anything to put a smile on a kid's face. Mom and Dad, you are a blessing and I can't thank you enough. Chris and Steve Langan. These guys are truly great guys. I've known Chris and Steve now for about 13 years. Not only were they my coaches, but throughout the years, these guys became my family. If I'm not mistaken, I met Chris at a tournament down in Miami Beach. They were actually there, I think, to see a center field with Mike Garcia. Didn't show up here. And we're pretty impressed with the foul ball that I hit. Chris said 400, I said 350, so we're close. After the game, I was introduced to Chris. At that time, Chris was assistant coach at Felician. It wasn't until the following season that Chris became the head coach of the F. Days after I met Chris, I got invited I got an invite to visit Felician College, and I did. My visit was pretty interesting. The day started with Steve Langan picking me up at the airport, me and my dad at the airport. Let's just say that the drive from the drive to Felician was an adventure with Steve. For those of you who know Steve, you know why it was an adventure. For those of you who don't know Steve, you're lucky. Yeah, you better take care of it.
Have your kid.
When we finally got to Felician, it was a typical weekend, just like we all know. All the doors were locked in the buildings. Everyone but the athletes were home for the weekend. After walking around campus, there was one thing I was really curious about. I asked Chris, I go, hey coach, where do you guys practice when there's snow on the grounds? He walked me to the gym, opened the door, and said, here you go. I was speechless. Coming from Miami, we always had, the sun was out, so we never had practice indoors. And he said, oh yeah, the gym is behind the curtain, the top stage. I said, wait. I said, well, I almost forgot about the best part, our field, good old Munat. What can I say about Munat? Dumb, sums it all up. And for those of you who are Staten Island singles, you know exactly what that means. So even with the amazing facilities, with the state-of-the-art gym and good old Munat, I went back home and 2 or 3 days later I called Chris and I committed to play for the Golden Falcons. It was the best decision of my life. Those 4 years at the AHOF were truly the best times of my life. Not only was baseball at the college, not only was baseball at the college level a great experience, but meeting my teammates were even better. I want to thank these guys that made it out tonight. You guys have no idea how grateful I am. You guys took time away from your families to be here with me tonight. Like I said, you guys, 4 years have been amazing. For you guys. All I can say is thank my wife and my 7-month-old daughter. And thank you.